My name is Nadine, and welcome to my podcast. This is been meaning to do this for a very long time, and I have this beautiful sunny day, perfect for filming and a quiet house. Everyone is gone. I don't know how other podcasters do it, but I definitely didn't want my family around while I talk to myself or talk to my phone. So welcome. So I think I've already said it, but my name's Nadine. I live in London, Ontario, Canada, and I've been knitting for a very long time. This will be a podcast about knitting, and I would say maybe about almost 15 years. I'm going to say 15. You know how like when you start and there's no official start. But yes, I love to make, but I always come back to knitting. I love to just love having strings and some sticks in my hands. So I just wanted to join the podcast community. I've been watching a lot of podcasts, thanks to a friend's recommendation, and it's been nice not having to knit by myself. I just throw on a couple videos and knit, and just wanted to join in the fun. It seems fun. It's a great way to, it seems like a really good way to meet others and find some inspiration, find out what other people are working on, and learning tips and tricks, and just I don't even know how to describe it. Just being a part of the community, feeling connected. So here I am. I was thinking, I don't do a lot of shopping ever. Pretty simple, and I'm not saying yarn just falls into my lap, but I've been lucky enough to build a great big stash, and so the last year and last couple of years I've been just trying to knit from it, and it's actually been kind of fun and a little amazing that I can find projects and dive into my stash and find quantities and colors to knit things with. So sometimes I find I dip into the stash and I'm inspired, and I plan around yarn, or sometimes I have an idea of what I want to make, and then I try to find it in my stash. So I thought, so I won't be having like purchases, or you won't be seeing any of that here, because it's not that I don't leave the house. I work full time, so I leave the house quite a bit, but I never find myself in a store, very rarely. But and I'm lucky to have some beautiful local yarn stores around me, and in my area, and yeah, I'm a pretty simple person. I love to be at home. I'm a homebody. I'm happiest at home. I'm also happiest when I'm out in the forest and outside, and try to get outside a lot every day. So I start to, so I go outside a lot. And it's free to go outside. So I'm also frugal. Add that to my list. Frugal, homebody, forest dweller, tea drinker, knitter, and maker. I try to, I dabble in some sewing. I made this top. It's an LB pullover, just a simple, kind of a boxy top. I used, oh my god, sorry, I'm just seeing food on my shirt. just a simple, it's almost like a light flannel. It's really soft. It's really nice. So it's like wearing pajamas. Yeah, that's fun. I love soft things, cozy things. So I just thought I would use this podcast to share what I'm knitting, some of the things I've loved to knit, um, and sharing any tips and tricks I know of, um, and just and sharing things that I find are really neat and inspiring and are bringing me joy. And if I can share those things with others, that will make me quite happy. I just realized. Sorry, it makes me look like I've got something on my head. Sorry. Yeah, it's just some art on the walls. So I should go back a little. I live here in London with my partner, and our youngest daughter is still at home. She's in high school, and she's quite an artist. So this room is where she hangs a lot of her stuff. You can't tell from this wall, but all the other walls are covered in art, lots of mediums and stuff. So it's our creative space. Now this is our older daughter's. It used to be my older daughter's room, and she moved to Toronto. She's working full time. She just finished her master's in media journalism and communications, and she's off into the world working full time and living in the city. So she comes home every now and then. So we've kept the bed, but otherwise we have created this, my youngest and I have created this space that we can knit and sew and create more art, fill up these walls, and yeah, so it's just a lovely little space. It's nice and sunny and really cozy, so I never want to leave. And so I wanted to share some of the things that lately I've been working on and knitting. I use a lot of free patterns or patterns and books that I have. So if there's something that you like, chances are you can easily access those as well. So let's see, what should I start with? I love to knit socks. I recently, actually, speaking of not shopping, I did do a little shopping back in December, and I bought this festive colorway from my friend who is a yarn dyer here in London, Ontario, and she has the most beautiful yarns and wools, and this is her sock base with, and it's her Christmas, special Christmas or festive colorway called Christmas in Wortley, which is one of the cutest, sweetest neighborhoods that isn't very far from me. It's maybe about a half an hour walk, but it's lovely, and it's almost like this very vintage feel. It's got little teals, and I don't know if that's picking up. Yeah, it's not your normal Christmas colors. It's more of a Victorian, almost, I don't know how to describe it. I love it. It's got like these browns that kind of remind me of gingerbread and teal and a purpley pink, like a fuchsia. And there's even some little bits of green on this really creamy base. So I don't know if that's showing up very well. It's almost that color. Trying to see. No, doesn't want to. That's pretty close. So anyway, I use the Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern. It's a free pattern that you can find on Ravelry, and it's just got a really simple, strategically placed purl, 4 rows, just knit and purl. Yeah, and it was a quick knit. Yeah, so it's a little bit of, I don't think I've ever used a speckled yarn before. This is really, I am so behind the times. I will jump on the wagon last. I would love to jump on the wagon, but I'm always last. Anyway, so that's the Hermione's sock pattern. I think you might even be able to see it a little bit better in this one. This is Lorna Lace's yarn, some old stuff I had in the stash, and it is just a lovely sock. I've got new sock blockers for you, so this is how you'll have to see it. Yeah, just a really simple, so I've done that one quite a few times. Oh, boo. Just seeing how it's pretty worn on the heels. But yeah, I love this pattern. Very simple. I don't have to think about it. I can drop it anywhere. And yeah, I do like simple patterns. I'm a simple kind of gal. I'm not very fancy. This is about as fancy as I get, but I love it. Very natural. So that's the Hermione's Everyday Sock. I also just recently discovered, again, it's been around forever, jumping on the bandwagon last, this Simple Skip sock. And it's, I don't even remember how I did it, but it's, again, really easy. I think it was only maybe 2 rows. I think those are just either like a slip stitch. I can't remember. I should look that up. But again, it is also a free pattern, and this one is by Adrienne Koo. I should also mention the Hermione's, if everyone in the world has done these already, I'm sure. But the Hermione Everyday Socks is a pattern by Erica Luder, and then the Simple Skip sock is Adrienne Koo. And I knit this in like a silk, I think it was a silk 4-ply by Regia, maybe? I think it's a Regia sock. It's so soft. I wish you could all touch this, and you can see the ribbing. Either the ribbing makes it look really thin, but it's very stretchy and looks really nice. I love it. I also love this color. It's like silver, like very classy. Anyway, so that is, I love simple sock patterns. I usually always have a pair of socks on the go. I say that. I don't have a pair on right now, but yeah, I better get on that. They're great for traveling. I take the bus every now and then to work and back, and it's nice to have a pair of socks so I don't have to make eye contact with anyone. You know, I have to talk to someone. So yeah, so those are some sock patterns that are free, easy, very simple. Really, I think also both of those patterns are really good at showing off the yarn and letting the yarn shine, and I think sometimes that's really important, especially if you've, you know, invested a little bit into your yarn. You just, yeah, it looks nice. And then I also knit a lot of mitts, and now this one isn't a free pattern, but I'm just putting it on. And I don't do a lot of color work, but I love these mittens. So this mitten is called the Forever Mitten. It's by Carrie Bostic Hogue, and it's from the Making magazine, number 6, the black and white edition. And I love this. If you're to just even buy one of these Making, I mean, I don't have all of them, but this one, I want to knit everything in this one, and it's a little bit older. It's not super new. When was it? I don't know if they have dates in here. But what's really awesome, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to see a Making magazine, but there's knitting patterns, sewing patterns, embroidery projects, quilting. There's usually a recipe, a couple recipes. I love them. My youngest loves to embroider, so I always hope that she will possibly pick up the magazine and be inspired to make, but she likes to make her own patterns. Where's this book? This is, I love, oh, and she's wearing the Haori jacket. What I love about this magazine also is that this was a jacket, the jacket she's wearing is a sewing pattern, and it's actually in, I don't think it's in this one, but it's in another of the making magazines. So they show you, like they're really good at highlighting all the other projects. Yeah, so that's a beautiful jacket that is on my list to make. I would also love to, oh, I could totally make that one right there. That is The Tree Light by Jennifer Steingass. And then there's also this Yoshida cardigan. And I've bought the yarn for, like enough yarn for this project several times. Oh my god, I love it. Oh, look at the back. I don't even know. Ah, there it is. It is so beautiful. Yeah, this edition, it's also got some simple shawls, hats, mittens, and then the recipes for some scones and rhubarb jam. Yes, please. And some felted raccoons. Even a rug. Oh, one day. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, I've made this pattern. I started making them last summer, and I have made them in black and white, originally for my daughter, but then I made a pair in red and white, and she loved those more, so she's been wearing those. And then I also made a pair in purple and white, and like a deep royal purple, and so everyone got a pair for Christmas. I love them, and they're so light, but they're also so warm. So I was kind of worried, because they're not thick, but I mean they're obviously knit double thick because of the color work. But oh my goodness, I love them. I even love these braids. Hello. They just sing to me. I'm sorry. Like if I could show these off all day, every day, I would. I should wear them around work, around the office. I need some fingerless ones. They fit so lovely. Anyway, so that's those. If you're looking for a good color work, I mean, there are plenty of free patterns, but yeah, this one was just a really easy one. I liked their, I think it was maybe, I want to say 12 to 15 rows repeat, so very easy to memorize and see where I was. So that is those. I also knit lots of, I have probably about 40 sweaters. And I'm sure other people do too. I don't understand. No one's ever complaining about it, but I've recently gone through my pile of sweaters, and I'm like, when am I going to like wear all of these? But I thought I would just share one that I just recently knit again, but it was the third time I've knit it, and each time like I've kind of I use it as a basic recipe, but it's the Khari Sweater by Nora Gone, and it's an older pattern. It's through it's posted on the Barocco website. It's a free one, and don't know. This was my second one. And it's kind of an Aran weight, so I've just been going through anytime I find about a sweater's worth of, now this one I just barely had enough, so I made a smaller version, but I'm just using the, like, it's actually, just remembering this now, it actually is written in pieces and you seam it, but I do them all in the round. And the bottom is also just really simple. It's supposed to also have, okay, so it doesn't look exactly like this, but I mean, it looks very similar. So it's done in pieces, the original pattern, and it has, along the bottom, it has a pocket, like you knit a band that goes around just the front, and it has a couple little, so it almost makes some little pockets in the front. And I don't need pockets, so I could see they'd be really cute. And I don't like seaming anything, so just even the thought of knitting the band and then having to knit it on was just like beyond me. So I just obviously doubled the front and the back are knit the same, so I doubled up my yarn, and it's a very boxy sweater as well. It's actually quite wide sweater, and embrace it. It always seems like every time I knit this sweater, I'm like, oh gosh, that's too many stitches. But I just plow on and keep going, and it will work out, I promise you. But I just, I knit it for as long as I want, and so sometimes I'm in the mood for a shorter sweater, sometimes I'm in the mood for a longer sweater. It also depends on how much yarn I have. I knit up to my armpits, and then I knit 2 sleeves. Again, this one doesn't have as long as sleeves, so this doesn't go right down to, but I'm also okay with that. It's easy to wash dishes and get my hands messy with it messing up my sweater, so I'm fine with that. Plus I wear a lot of button-up shirts, so yeah, my wrists don't freeze. And then, so I knit my 2 sleeves, join them all together, and then I do the increases, or the decreases, sorry. And they're pretty, like, I love this. I don't know. I can't remember how I did it. I would have to look at the pattern. I think it's a knit 2 together and a slip knit. So it almost looks like the side of, it looks like the side of a sock. I love it. And then I go up to the top, and then when I have, because in the original pattern, once you would put them all together, that's when you join all the pieces together in the collar, and then you knit that after you've seamed your pieces together. And it's a folded over collar. So it has a little bit of ribbing, and then you knit double the height in a reverse stockinette, which I think is so pretty in this. I don't know if you can see it there. And then and then tack it down. So it gives, and it's a bit of a wider, like, no doubt it's a wide, but I love it. It's like kind of like, it's almost like a boat collar, but it kind of stands up, and it kind of doesn't. But yeah, I love this. It's a very simple, I wear them to work, I wear them around the house in sweatpants. It basically matches everything. I love them. And this one was using, I don't remember this yarn, but it was, it's got some silk and tweed. I love this color. Again, so it's very simple, but it has these really cute little, these touches that, I love this one. This one's a little bit smaller than my other 2, but here's my first one, and I knit it in this maroon, and as you can tell, it's so much bigger. So much bigger. So I was like, oh dear, this is gonna be huge. But I love it over some skinny jeans. I don't wear skinny jeans. I do wear skinny jeans. Just regular old jeans. again, there's the reverse stockinette collar. It's very big, but trust me, it just looks really neat. I wear a lot of shirts under things, so it's not, I usually have a nice little pop-up collar here. It just, oh my goodness. I knit this about 4 years ago. So this one goes all the way down to, it was 4 years ago, just over 4 years ago. My daughter, our oldest daughter, was studying in the south of France for a year. And so we had to go visit her, of course. And I knit this, and this was the only sweater I took with me. And it was, oh gosh, that was hard to just take one. I think this one's so big. I think there's actually, yeah, I can see it. I actually did a little bit of decreasing before I went up to the body, so you can, oh my goodness, I love this sweater. And again, I have no idea what I used for this. It was like, I think it was some kind of, I don't know, Rowan or something. Oops, got some fuzzies on here. But it is also a bit of a tweedy one, so there's lots of colors in here. So wine, burgundy. Just a really nice, this is probably as bright as I go for most days, but I love this color too. I don't wear it a lot, but yeah, so this is, it looks nice with black and jeans and my blues, some nice denims. So that was the first one. And then most recently, this was my third one. And this one I used Briggs & Little. I believe it was either Heritage or Regal. Sorry, I'm looking over here because I think I put it in my Ravelry queue. I did. So I can tell you exactly this one. So yeah, Briggs & Little, Regal. And again, it took just over 4 skeins, and this is a big sweater. This is not small, and you might not be able to tell because it's coming, yeah, this is about the color. Again, it is so wide. I'm not this wide, you guys, but it is like a big giant sweatshirt. It feels like the color's not as stretched out as the other ones, but you can see how that would look kind of nice. Everything's the same. I didn't make them super, super long, and this is so much more rustic. It's a bit of a navy heather. I don't know if you can kind of tell. You can see my hair on there. It's not going to show up. Oh, wait, maybe right there. It's a bit scratchy, and I'm sure it will soften up with more wear, but again, I love this pattern. Actually, kind of, now that I think about it, it's a lot like this one. But these are, so I could knit this one a million more times. I just, yeah. So that was that one, and I'm wondering, this brown one, yep, I don't have the yarn there, so I don't know what that was. Okay, so that is, I like to make sweaters, I like to make socks and mittens, and I wear lots of hats. I mean, knitting for 15 years, you accumulate a lot, and so it's hard to justify going out and buying more yarn for something that I don't need when I have 40 sweaters and 40 pairs of socks and 40 hats and 40 pairs of mittens. And I mean, I say that and it sounds like a lot, but honestly, that's how much I have, if not more. Shawls and scarves and cowls, and I'm really bad. I don't give a lot of my stuff away. Just yeah, I don't, unless I know someone's gonna really wear it. And that's usually knitters. So the last thing I wanted to share with everyone, oh sorry, I almost ate my sweater. I just I cast this on just after Christmas. I had this yarn in my stash. There's not a lot left here. It is, I don't know if I can get a good picture of that. Is that coming up clear. I don't know what this is, so now I'm showing you. It says Jagger Spun. Heather Dewberry is the color. It says by the Jagger Brothers. I picked this up probably about 15 years ago when I first started knitting, just because I like the color. From my local yarn shop. It was $10, and I just put it on my shelf, and it has just traveled with me for 15 years, and I decided it was time to. Purple's not really mine. I'm trying to imagine myself wearing this. It's not my color. Not a color I would buy right now, but I did at one point think it was for me, and I think there was a time when I bought a lot of this color. Anyway, so I started, because I don't know how much was on that cone, I started knitting a garter stitch scarf, like just maybe like one of those asymmetrical scarves, not really following a pattern, just something that I could use up the entire cone. But as I got knitting, I was like, I've knit a lot, and it's not dwindling. Like, there's a lot more on this cone than I thought there was at the beginning. So, and so I have enough for a sweater. I also didn't know what gauge it was, and shocker, I didn't knit a swatch, a gauge swatch. I rarely do. I've knit some gauge swatches and knit a sweater, and it still doesn't fit, so I'm like, I don't mind ripping out something if it doesn't fit, because I like to knit so much that that if I have to knit this cone 800 times, I'll be fine. It's very soft and lovely, and the more I worked it, it even got softer. It was awesome. Anyway, so I figured, because I don't know whether anyone else can do this, but I'm sure everyone else can do this. But you've knit a long time is when I was knitting the shawl, the scarf. I knew that it was coming out using the size of needle that I was using and the stitch. I figured it was, and eyeballing also, thinking they're identifying it as a fingering weight, sock weight. So I decided to rip it all out, and because it would be a blanket scarf if I kept going. So I ripped it out and found a pattern in my queue that I have had there for such a long time that I actually waffled between, because again, when I picked this yarn, I liked lavender, and when I put that in my queue, it may have gone with the things I was wearing at the time. It has been in my Ravelry queue for so long. Sorry, I was picking it up and that wasn't the right one. So I decided again that I thought I'd just give it a try. And so I cast on for it, and it's the Minetta Cardigan by Kristen Kapoor. It is a free pattern in Knitty. Oh my goodness, and if I go onto this, I can tell you exactly when I put it in my queue. Okay, it was published in winter of 2014, so it has been in my queue for 6 years. It is just a really pretty fingering weight cardigan, very simple. It has a really simple cable going down the front, both sides, and then down the back, the center back. So pretty. And in the picture, again, why I wasn't quite sure about making it, on the model, which I think is Kristen's daughter, it is, I don't know if I can, it is really fitted. Can you see that? There it is. It's really fitted. Um, and I am not about the fitted life, my friends. Just not. Not anymore. Anyway, so I did pick a larger one. I might have went up a needle size. And I've loved the fabric it's created. So, I mean, the sleeves are still nice and they're fitted. And just bring up the front maybe. I just cast off. There's some spots that are kind of, eh. And I haven't had a chance yet to block it or put on the 10 buttons. But it is almost all the ends are weaved in. That kind of shows you a little. Anyway, I cannot wait. I picture myself wearing this with some dresses. So I think that would look really nice. Some skirts, some tunics, just over a t-shirt. It's really nice. It's so soft and heathery. So it's not, I like the color. I think it will look nice. I've tried it on. I could pull it off. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. So I just need to put on the, so it's an almost finished object. I don't know about everyone else, but I kind of usually lose steam after it's cast off. I don't like doing all the finishing pieces. I really like socks just for that reason, and probably mittens have some finishing too. So that is them. The mittens, the cardigan, the sweaters, the scarf, the socks. I think that's about it. Just gonna try to keep this a little bit short. I have yet to learn how to edit and stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get here maybe at least once a month. There is, whenever I have a chance to have the house to myself, which is not that often, considering we have a teenager. She is also a homebody, and so is my husband, so it's hard. But unless I like take this out into the road or something, I could. I'm not saying I wouldn't. Yeah, so I hope everyone's having a really great wintry weekend. And yeah, how do people end these things? I'm trying to think of other things that would be interesting. Maybe the next time I've kind of shown you some of my favorite knits, and so maybe next time so I'll share some favorite makes or some, yeah, because honestly I don't even know what I want to knit next. I've got to go through the stash. That's going to be kind of fun, and I shouldn't say that. There are just things one thing I shouldn't say is that I don't know what to make. I've got 300. I have got a lot of things in my Ravelry queue. That's no lie. Sometimes I don't know, does anyone else do this? Like I go back and I try to cull my Ravelry queue, but make it a little bit more manageable. Plus I'm like, what's at the bottom? Like, I think there's probably a lot of shawls. I think there was a time when shawls like, but I never wear shawls. And I have some really nice shawls. It's not a problem. So I don't know. What is like, so I guess I would say that I like making the hats, mittens, and socks and sweaters because I wear those the most. But I think that's about it for today. I've got to start driving around and picking up groceries and picking up people from work. Everyone's working today except for me. Yeah, I'm gonna finish my tea and possibly start a new project. No, I'm not gonna start a new project. Yeah, I'm just going to. What time is it? 1:46. Okay, nice. I also have to, yeah, do some groceries, clean up a little bit. I made a bit of a mess in here to get this all set. So, yeah, I will see you next time. I hope everyone's having a good time and enjoying whatever they're knitting and enjoying finding little bits of joy in their lives. So, happy Saturday. Bye.